Let's talk about something wonderful really quickly here. Because there's enough bad news. You know what we don't do? What we need to do more of? I know I do. We need to talk about it when good things happen to good people. That's something wonderful we should focus on, isn't it? And there's something even more wonderful than that. And we need to focus on this whenever we get a chance. When bad things happen to bad people. Isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that put a smile on your face? The Washington Post might be the most despicable news organization, if we're still calling it that. It's difficult to find something destructive happening in this country that the Washington Post doesn't support and encourage and isn't at least partially responsible for. They are a despicable organization. And the Washington Post, because people are catching on, they lost 500,000 subscribers in 1 year because people were putting their money where their morals are and they're going elsewhere. So I thought it would be appropriate. Let's pause and focus on some good news before we get to the border and emails and everything else. I thought it would be appropriate to talk about layoffs. The Washington Post is laying a bunch of people off. Here's some really crappy sounding audio today when they gathered everyone in and told everyone they were going to start laying people off. It's not even good audio. I'm playing it for you anyway, just because every time I hear these communists whine, it just puts a smile on my face.
We're not going to turn the town hall into a grievance session.
It's not a grievance session. You just
about positions getting eliminated. What are you going to do to protect people's jobs? Are they going to be treated like the magazine staffers were?
We'll have more information as we move forward. Thank you very much.
And how will your positions be decided?
You seem to be disrespectful.
How wonderful is that? You know what? No, you know what? You're right. That was mean. What I need to be doing right now is I need to be offering help to these people, these communists who have just been laid off from the Washington Post. So what I think I'll do, I think I'll go through just a couple things. These are a couple things the communists at the Washington Post, they love to tell anyone viewed as their enemy. This is what they love to tell them whenever they're faced with something, with job losses and things like that. Let's see, one of the things they love to say, learn to code. When all those jobs started drying up because of the communists, they're all very, very fond of saying, why don't you just learn computers? Why don't you learn to code? So that's what I should be doing. All of you communists who are laid off today, why don't you just learn to code? I don't understand why you're so upset. Just go learn to code and pay your bills. Or there's another thing they love. Joe Biden's a huge fan of this. All the communists on this side are huge fans of this. When they walk into office and they cancel things like the Keystone Pipeline and they crush the oil and gas lines and people get up and they complain, these are jobs, these are American jobs, you're destroying these American jobs. The communists, like the ones at the Washington Post who all say things like this too, they love to say, well, they can go get a job building solar panels. So if you're a Washington Post journalist and let's say you had a bad day, right? They called you in and they told you, you can't work here anymore. Maybe you got mad. Maybe you're still mad. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be mad. What's the big deal? Just go build some solar panels. You don't feel like moving to China where virtually all the solar panels are being built and building solar panels for slave wages? Does that seem like a cold, unfair thing to suggest of you? Well, then why did you suggest it of the oil field guys and the coal guys? You don't want to work for slave wages in China? Oh, let me guess. You're just a journalist who didn't know that that's where virtually all the solar panels come from. You didn't know that all those fancy green solar panels are actually a disaster for the planet. Go look at the mines that they have to do, the kind of mining they have to do to create those solar panels. So your solar panels destroyed the planet. They're made by Chinese slave labor, and you were so cold when you told all those oil field guys to just go build some solar panels. So I'm here to help you the same way you helped others. If you're at the Washington Post and you've got the sads today about your job, just learn to code or build some solar panels and you'll be fine. All right? Just trying to help out. Just trying to help out and show you the same humanity and compassion you have shown other people. Now, speaking of compassion, in general, I'll be frank, I hate that word for a couple different reasons. One, because I have no compassion inside of me. I'm a cold, feelingless monster. And I know that. That makes it hard. So that's one. But two, I hear words like humane and compassion. And what's happened is instead of meaning what they actually mean, they've turned into code words that are, well, used to destroy the country I love. Like when Joe Biden talks about the border like this.
And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane.
Safe and orderly and humane. Okay. Diversity hires out there talking about it too.
We have taken action. We have given the Department of Homeland Security historic funding to deal with this very issue, and so we're going to continue to monitor this. Like as I mentioned, my ARCIS was down in El Paso to talk to local officials who have been great partners with us. And so, again, we're going to do the work, we're going to be prepared, and we're going to make sure we have a humane process moving forward.
Humane, okay, they're going to monitor. I wouldn't worry. They have processes, and they're going to monitor, and they're going to be prepared. And I got this email, I love it. Jesse, I listen to your podcasts. I like what you say about the issues in our political system, including rhinos. I'm concerned that no one is discussing what to do with the hundreds of thousands of illegals that are in our country now. Some Republicans talk about closing the border or renewing the border wall, so on and so forth. Well, do you know why Republicans won't do anything? This is another reason I hate the word compassion. Because they try to use the word compassion as an excuse. Let me explain something very, very clearly. Your country is being unmade across its southern border. If you do not have borders, you very shortly will not have a nation. You cannot possibly, no nation, doesn't matter how the size, doesn't matter the wealth, you cannot possibly maintain a country if you are being flooded with third world crime and poverty. It just doesn't, it won't work. But it's happening here. And it's happening here because the Democrats, the communists, are trying to burn the place to the ground. And the Republicans, they're too soft to do anything about it. What does real compassion look like when it comes to immigration?
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, The History of FBI Scandals, and America's Worst Presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.